guys. This is SoulDeep. Yeah, this is like the first time I'm actually sitting down and talking to you guys directly. I just realized looking through my YouTube and thinking about it while also reading some literature. I just realized I really neglected to actually have time to talk to the people who listen to my music, to the people who I interact with on a daily basis, whether it's on Twitter and Instagram or Facebook. I really haven't been giving any updates. I think the last time I actually posted something that's like an update is when this whole pandemic was starting to get better here in China. That's where I am. And I'm not one to usually, want to talk so much about myself. But I just wanted to open up and give an update of how things are going and how I've been and the direction I think also that we'll be taking, although that's also still under construction in terms of music, in terms of just me as an artist and stuff. And interesting things that have just been happening. I don't know if it's gonna be interesting, but so I came here last year to China in 2019. September is when we arrived, and we're about to just have it's about to be a year now, on the 9th of September. And basically I and a few other guys and girls from Zimbabwe got scholarships to come to China and study music in different departments and stuff. So basically I'll be doing a master's, but before we could start our master's we had to pass HSK4. HSK4 is 汉语水平考试, which is like the Chinese level exam. So we have to have a minimum of HSK4 and then HSK5 before we actually graduate. That's for your masters. That this past year has literally just been Chinese every day, all day. Chinese music, Chinese. Like the music is like sprinkles here and there, but it's mainly been Chinese. I didn't really release any music since Roundabout. I think Roundabout was the last song that I actually officially released, and that was in November. Listen, I'll put the link, then y'all see when sorry, my room is literally by the street, well, the school street anyway, so there's gonna be a lot of noise and people chatting outside, but I hope this is loud enough. I've just realized I've been talking like the person I'm talking to is like right next to me. So anyway, so Roundabout was my first release when I arrived here, but it was something I'd made at home. And so when I came here, of course I had plans on just keep on releasing music and plans on doing so much stuff, but school got a bit overwhelming for me, and I just haven't done much in terms of releasing music. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, that is COVID-19, we were in quarantine for a while. I mean, here it was crazy because we were quarantined from January, I believe, right up until like June or July. I think it was June. And so that was 6 months of just me probably going to the gates to collect deliveries was like literally the furthest I could go, walking around the campus. And our campus compared to other schools is quite small. So during quarantine, I think the best thing that happened was I began to write a lot. sometimes it would just be kind of like words and or lyrics or poems, whatever you want to call them. And then I met a lot of different musicians. I've also met a few musicians here in China, from Zambia, from all over the world. And yeah, I've just been inspired. I've worked on a few things, just taking elements and also just listening to the advice and the guidance from other people who've been doing this for longer than I have. So it's been quite a journey, but I actually met quite a number of good artists, amazing artists in different regards, and not just music but fashion, all this, all the goodness. And I'm just so grateful to be here, because it's a space where you meet with other creatives and you get to kind of come out of your own shell or your own box or your own bubble that is your world as an artist, and begin to tap into different dimensions of art. And so therefore you'll be inspired to create differently. For me, I think quarantine really did me well. As I said, I've been writing a lot. It was hard at first. I had a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of uncertainty as to what was going to happen with this pandemic. Was I going to get it? Did I get it? I don't even remember. There are times when I thought I was sick, bro. Like, I won't even lie to you. And then I would just be like, yeah, I'm just going to die. And tomorrow I'm not going to be here. Just like despairing. And I think for me, it's just, being helpless in a situation like this. I'm an artist. I'm a singer. I know nothing about medicine. You can't really help anybody practically. But I think this quarantine really helped me to open up in terms of like my own weaknesses, and to really kind of tap into that and start to actually open up to myself and be real with what I've been through this year, in the past years, and also just generally in life, and to actually really start tapping into that, because I think I hadn't really done that in my music, because most of the subject matter that I've tackled has been really either very superficial, or I was just talking about something general that's not really about me. It could be, it is in part, but it's not really. So, excuse me. Quarantine had me sit down with myself, because my roommate was actually stuck in another city, and so she couldn't be here. So I was alone. I had a friend, actually became good friends with one of the girls here, and that was amazing for me, because I had someone to actually just hang with and chill with. And that was really good for me, because you kind of, when you're alone, you kind of have all these thoughts and anxiety, and you start thinking things that aren't really good. And so it was good for me to actually have a friend there to actually just take a load off and really just focus on other things, and really just start to appreciate different art forms and stuff. And so anyway, so I started writing about the things I've experienced, or things that I see people going through, that maybe just writing things from my perspective and how I would express it and stuff. And I've never been like someone who's really good at writing. Like, I feel like my lyrics are okay. I always feel like I can do better, and sometimes it sounds good when I'm saying it in my head or when I write it on paper, but when I do put a melody to it, sometimes it's just like really bland and dry. And so this quarantine, I think it challenged me to not only write, but write better, write more and write better. And for me, I think that was such an advantage. I didn't see it as such in the beginning, because I just thought, no one is going to want to hear the kind of stuff that I'm feeling, the stuff I've experienced, because I'm not poetic, as poetic as I want to be, or I'm not as deep, and that, I don't know what that thing is that other people have, but that lyrical as I want to be. But after just sitting down with myself, I just thought, what, let me just write. What's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is that I have all my thoughts and feelings on paper, and I don't, in the end, if I feel like I don't have to share. But I think the greatest thing that I realized was that the more I wrote, the better I became at actually putting myself across in a way that I'm happy with. I can say, okay, I really understand, it's relatable to me. Like, I don't know if you get it. Like, my own feelings become more clear to me as I write. The stuff that I really need to unpack and deal with, the stuff that I've been avoiding, the stuff that is uncomfortable, the stuff that is happy, the stuff that is sad, the stuff that I call dark, the stuff that I call light. All of it becomes so much more clear when it's on paper. And that vulnerability for me, I think it's something that I really try to avoid a lot, because I just feel like people don't need to be in my space, people don't really need to know. Like, I think it's too much, and I mean, always feel like it's too much. But I've just been encouraged to just put all my feelings on paper. And I think for me, quarantine was a lot of sermons. I watched a lot of sermons. I'm sure I just need to rewatch everything, because listen, I watched a lot. I watched Jerry Flowers, I watched Jackie Hill Perry, I watched Ravi Zacharias. I was watching like a lot of different takes and on different subject matter, and really just trying to wrap my head around getting messages, how to get a message across, especially as a believer. How do I put myself across in a way that doesn't hide the fact that I'm a believer, in a way that doesn't negate that, in a way that doesn't disrespect that, because I feel like a lot of times, sometimes people will not really see it. And I know it's not, I can't control how people see me or perceive me, but I feel like I can also take hold of my gifts and really nurture them and really, grow them, or at least by God's grace, grow them in a way that people will actually see the God inside of what I'm doing. And I want it to be as clear as possible. I mean, it won't always show itself so blatantly, because it's not expressly gospel music. However, I do hope in the way that I conduct the work, the way it's produced, the way it's put across, the way it's presented, will really let the gospel or the God in it shine through, because I'm all about really just worshiping and praising God through my art, and I'm hoping it does that. If it doesn't, or if people feel like it doesn't, then that's another thing. But if it really doesn't, and I'm willing to shift, because I feel like oftentimes I feel like it doesn't. When I feel like it doesn't, I feel like then I should stop making music. And I think for a while, that's another reason why I just wasn't putting out music, because I wasn't sure if this is what I wanted to be doing. But being in what people say is secular world, the secular space as an artist, is a really tricky road to navigate. And those are some of the things I will be negotiating in my music, the topics, in my music, even in just like the discussions or the videos I'll be doing, just how I'm negotiating myself, my way through college or through school as a Christian, but also as an artist, because those two, I feel like they shouldn't be mutually exclusive. Because like I said, when I hear it, it's not just music, it's all forms of art. So how do you navigate that the creative space as a believer? I don't know the answer in full yet, but I believe excuse me, I do believe that the answer is not in not creating at all, because I believe if you need a hiatus, it's okay. If you feel like you need a break temporarily, then it's okay. But I don't believe that you should completely stop creating because you feel like you're not doing, you're not, it's not godly enough, or it's not worshiping God, because I wish there was like a biblical reference that I could be like, okay, if you're a movie director and you're a Christian, this is what you should do. If you're a singer and you're a Christian, this is what you do. If you're a graphic designer and you're Christian, this is what you do. I wish I could do, I wish there was anything, but the creative space has evolved over time, and it has changed, and it is still changing. Excuse me, sorry. And it is still changing, and so those are some of the things I've been negotiating and need to negotiate further as a Christian. But I think top of my list, apart from music, is really just getting the therapy that I need to address a lot of the childhood trauma, or just the trauma in general that I've gone through as a child and as an adult, and to really unpack all that, because for the longest time I believed that my music was therapy for me, as much as I was entertaining for me. When I hit the stage, I could put on another persona, I could be someone else, and I really didn't realize that I thought I'd worked through my issues, because I'm a believer, and I go, I believe in God, I believe in the word of God, and I'm a fan, like I'm a Jesus fan, like I love Jesus. And so for me, it was enough. I had God and I had music. And so I felt like I don't need therapy because my music will heal me, right? But I think as time went on, I started to realize that I hadn't really worked through anything. I had spoken about it. I hadn't written about it yet at the time. I had spoken about it several occasions. I've tweeted about it and talked to people about it, but not people who would actually just help me to actually unpack the feelings that come with it, and the repercussions of it, and everything that then came out of all of the pain that I went through. So I've also just decided to take that seriously and really look for sources as to where I can actually get the therapy that I feel like I do need, because I feel like it's a necessity as an adult, when you realize that some things that happened to you even as a child weren't right, to take the necessary steps to your healing, because hurt people do hurt people, and I am a living testimony of that, and so I would want to work through those things. I believe in prayer, I believe in reading the Bible, and I watch sermons. Like I said, I was watching sermons this whole quarantine, but I feel like I also need to incorporate therapy into that, because it'll help to consolidate, it'll help everything that I've learned in the sermons, and all the feelings that I've put on the paper. I think it will all be consolidated if I really talk to a professional who knows how to unpack and help me really deal with all of this. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I am writing, I am recording, I am making music, not at the pace that I would want to be, because obviously I've gone from being a semi-full-time artist to being part-time artist, musician anyway. I'm still working in music, I'm still doing music stuff, but not my own music most of the time because of school. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be studying pop music, singing, so at least I can still sing, but I don't know how much of my original work. So yeah, I'll be just doing these updates maybe like every month or so, or every 2 weeks. If I feel like there's been a big change in the next 2 weeks, then I'll come back to you guys and talk to you after registration for my course, and the first few weeks or the first few months, how it's been, and maybe there'll be something interesting to talk about. But if there's not, then I'll just be posting like whatever videos whatever things that I think people will enjoy. If you have any suggestions of what you would like for me to talk about, or what you would want for me to do for you and post on YouTube or any social media, do drop a comment. And yeah, if you have any suggestions for videos, and if you have whatever you want me to talk about, just put it in the comments, and subscribe, like, share, and stay tuned. I hope we can grow together, And yeah, thank you if you've watched it until now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this is Soul Deep Sim, at Soul Deep Sim on all social media platforms, at Soul Deep Zim. It's one word, on all social media platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and goodbye.